Alright, here's the video review for FansProject Function X-8 CROX, their version of Skull Cruncher. Let's see, he's an alligator, or a crocodile. Crocodile, I would guess, just based on the name CROX, but he looks more like an alligator. Anyway, he comes in the standard now Function X packaging, the plastic sleeve with the cardboard box inside of it, and the standard Function X type of manual there. Oh, it's showing him fighting their Positum, their Optimus version of this mold. There on the back. I thought maybe we could look at highbrow, but no. So yeah, here he is. His tail comes packaged behind the bubble card. The robot mode otherwise is all complete. So he's a little alligator crocodile. Let's just say crocodile. His name's CROX. We're going to go with crocodile. If you open up his mouth, he's got some little spinning, chompy mashing gears in there. He doesn't hold the Headmaster like the old G1 toy. Headmaster actually sits up here in the cockpit. There's some windows here that the pilot can look out. And we'll talk a little bit more about those windows here in a moment. Articulation-wise, his tail does wag from side to side. If you want it to be a longer, you can flip out the sword tip here. If I can get it here. If you want to give him a longer tail, it does kind of give him a sword tip tail, but wag back and forth. His legs rotate just like this and out a little bit here, and then he's got a little movement on his paw. And up here you've got a little bit of rotation here in the forearm part of the front limb, a little bit of rotation here, and then a ball joint on the foot. So you can get that in a few little positions, but not much. You can see his robot mode thumb forms the outside of the paw here. And outside of that, that's pretty much it. His head, like I said, his jaw opens and closes, and his head can look down a little bit. It's mostly due to transformation, though. Actually, that way is not due to transformation. Anyway, he does have a bit of a hinge there, and he's got a little bit of a waist if you want him to hunch over. When I grew up in Louisiana, so I was around alligators a lot down there. And they do kind of shuffle, this low slung shuffle. As they run. Because if you've ever watched documentaries, they don't really lift themselves up. So having the kind of low slung body here is fairly accurate. They don't look quite as hunched like this, but they do run pretty low to the ground. So anyway, on to transformation. We'll go ahead and open up this. Now, when you open up the chest, you want to open up this side first, because there is there's a tab on this side that's not on this side. So you want to make sure when you close it, make sure this one comes first, and this one you're gonna have to get it so this little white piece comes over the green, but you want to make sure that closes second, because there is that tab that will keep it from closing all the way. So anyway, we open this up, and here's this little Headmaster dude. Red chest, gold faceplate, red eyes. He's got the little face on his back, but the visor kind of folds up to cover it, much like Smart Robin did. Some little spikes on his feet. His arms move, his legs move independently of each other at the waist and knee. So a little bit of posability there on the little Headmaster guy. I'm going to transform CROX with this open. We're going to pull these assemblies out, the whole arm, flip those out, and then this whole piece folds down. Make sure you get these all the way out of the way. Fold this down, the head's going to fold in. Actually, we need to get the legs off first. Pull the tail off, it just slides out. And when you're going back to CROC mode, you want to make sure these pieces are right up against each other, because they form a little ridge here that slides into a little ridge here on the tail piece. So slide the tail out. Fold the legs out. And as you fold that little piece will come out and form like a kneecap. You want to rotate it this way. You can rotate that down, rotate it toward the back, and rotate the whole hip piece. Or actually, no, the hip piece stays like that. I keep trying to twist them around at the waist. Anyway, fold the crocodile feet up, rotate them around at this hinge. And before you fold them up, flip this green piece out. like that. And then these fold up to form the foot, like that. And then this piece comes around and clips in to fill in the back of the leg. And then the crocodile head can come all the way down, and then again you close the panel. Make sure to close this side first with that tab, and then this piece over it to lock the chest together like that. The arms come down and around. You rotate it here at the bicep swivel so the elbow comes forward. Bring that all down. And then the paw. Now, the paw is on a ball joint, and because it has such a wide range of motion, if you just use the paw to push this out, chances are you're going to end up popping the paw. If you can kind of use it, if you grab it like that, you can kind of use it to start to flip the fist out. And I find it helps to use the fist to flip it out all the way, because if you put too much pressure, that will send that paw popping off and flying. Again, not a quality control flaw. It's just it's on a ball joint. And then you rotate just the forearm piece just below the elbow around, so his fist is in the front. You can see brings out most of his forefingers. His thumb is actually formed by the outer paw of the crocodile mode. Roll that forward, and then there's his body. Now in this configuration, he does tend to want to fall back a little bit. There's not a lot of heel support there. You can kind of pull his feet down a little bit in the back to help support him. Other people I've seen have also flipped his gator paw out to give him kind of a little bit more of a, kind of done like this to give him more of a heel here. Either option will support him and keep him standing in robot mode. It's entirely up to you how you want to do that. And his Headmaster just folds up, fold it up at the knees, and that lifts up. You can see his face lifts up the visor, and the visor kind of slides up and folds down over his face like that. What's cool is he does have a slightly translucent part here on the bottom part of the visor, so you can kind of see his eyes through it. It has to be pretty brightly lit to see him very clearly, but you can kind of see his red eyes through the visor, which is nice. Then just pop his head on right here. Now the sword itself has a little flip out piece right here. It gives you a little tab, so when he's not holding it, you can store it on the back of his waist like that. And of course, bring this out, flip the sword part out, and then put the handle in his hand, and he can hold it as a weapon. It does tilt a little bit from side to side, but it doesn't do it unless you intentionally do it. It's not super loose, it's not floppy, but it does have that range of motion from the wiggle. Now here he is in robot mode, and like I said, I know a lot of people had some complaints about the windows on the chest. That does, like again, it's supposed to be the cockpit in the animal mode, and it does help them with their Optimus repaint because it gives you kind of that Optimus chest with the grill-esque piece down here and the windows on the chest, and doesn't really match up with G1 Skull Cruncher. Now there was talk that there was an alternate transformation for the chest, or that there might have been, to make him look more like G1 Skull Cruncher. And I haven't figured that out at all, if it's even there. I don't know if maybe that was an idea that got scrapped somewhere along the line, or whatever. Let's see if we can get this focused a little bit clearer. So yeah, his head does turn side to side, as well as he has that neck piece there that lets him look down or up if you flip it around before you plug the head in. He's got ball joints here at the shoulders, as well as the transformation hinge, so you can get his arms in a pretty decent array of angles there. He's got a couple little flip-up missile launchers here. You flip up the panels here, and he's got some missiles hiding under there. He does have the bicep swivel, which again we used for transformation. Hinge elbows. He's got a forearm swivel. The fists can fold in, but the fists really don't have articulation. There's no wrist swivel. It's up here. He does have waist swivel, ball joint hips, thigh swivel, dual hinge knees, although the upper hinge doesn't get a whole lot of range of motion out of it, but it does have a hinge up here and then a hinge down here in the leg. And like I said, you got a little bit of ankle tilt just due to the way he transforms, and again, he can't go back very much. You can get him in some forward leaning poses, just by, again, using the transformation there for the leg. But yeah, good colors. I like Skull Cruncher. Skull Cruncher was one of my the Headmasters I had as a kid, and I think my favorite of the Decepticon Headmasters, at least growing up. I think Weird Wolf may be supplanting him slightly, but yeah, windows on the chest. I can see why they bug some people. They're not super horrible to me. Although when you think Optimus Prime and then look at him, it does kind of scream Optimus Prime. But oh well. Here he is with code. You can see I painted the faceplate orange on mine. But just to compare to another Function X figure. Here he is with Toy World's Skull Cruncher. We'll click that up a little bit so you can see them together. And here he is with, this is G1 Skull Cruncher, but using the Toy World head, because this was kind of a junker, just to give you an idea of how he compares to the G1 toy. This is a junker body that my friend Jeremy gave me that I keep meaning to buy the Headmaster and the weapons for, just to complete him, and I just haven't gotten around to spending the money on it. But with the Toy World head, that gives you an okay idea of what he'd look like next to the G1 Skull Cruncher, because for the most part, I mean, the only difference is the head, and the head's roughly the same size-ish as the old G1 Headmasters, maybe a little bulkier. So yeah, there's CROX from FansProject. He's pretty cool. I plan on, when I hit TFCon in a couple of weeks, picking up the Optimus Prime repaint of this, just because I like the way they used the code head to be Optimus, and I think it looks kind of cool. But even just as Skull Cruncher, I think it's a pretty nice little homage.